Let's settle this. What is the worst fandom? As a cartoon fanatic, it's a tie between the Steven Universe and the Rick and Morty fandom. I've never seen fans as toxic as the ones from both of these shows. I still love Steven Universe and I still love Rick and Morty. I don't feel the same about their fanbase however. RuPaul's Drag Race. Some fans are constantly harassing contestants on social media, and even the family of the contestants are not safe from the abuse. A contestant nearly killed himself last year because of the bullying. Seriously, I don't understand the death threats, even hating past contestants over stuff that happened like 10 years ago. I found musical fandoms, like of certain bands or performers, are the worst. Total gatekeepers and competitive one-upping. Just wanted a guitarist's autograph because I liked another band he had been in. Every person in line around me had to quiz me to see if I was a true fan or not. Then they snootily would bring up how many concerts they had gone to, as if it was a barometer of their fandom. Like, good for you. I just liked Banda and wanted to meet him since he's here with band. Thanks for ruining it for me. 100%. I'd argue nobody hates metal bands more than metal band fans. For example, Metallica was on Colbert's show after the Super Bowl last night and rather than talking about how they sounded great. Their subreddit was mostly mad they played Enter Sandman and not a new song or something more obscure. Juggalos. It comes from experience. I know a Juggalo who raped and beat the crap out of a female friend of mine. Another one who was facing homelessness and was taken in by a friend only to rob him within literal hours of the agreement and dive through a closed window when confronted about it. Another one who bragged about claiming Juggalo as his gang affiliation to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Department when he got arrested. Another one who games the system to get social security for being bipolar and bragged about it and still dates high school girls despite being 36 years old. And another almost 40-year-old man who believes wrestling is real. Wrestling is real. It's just fixed. I'm from America but went to school in the UK. Once I got to like 11/12. Girls back home were out of nowhere fascinated with me because I was from the land of Sherlock and Doctor Who. These girls would even try to debate me on UK things, like telling me what cookies we like. It was so strange. Literally dislike both just because of how annoying the fandom was. Also ruined Benedict Cumberbatch for me. Family vloggers. Fans of family vloggers just don't seem to see how weird it is that they're obsessing over someone's 3-year-old child. This child is being exploited by their parents for clickbait and ad money, which is bad enough, but family vlogger fans will defend it and get weirdly attached to some random family and some random kids they've never met and can't see that the parents are just glorified salespeople using their kids as props for views. I do not envy babies, small children born in the last 5 or so years. Crap their parents post will absolutely destroy them in high school when a bully gets a hold of it. Thankfully there's only a handful of embarrassing, but normal for everyone else of the era, photos of me, but they are securely stuck in the family photo album, haha. The Beehive Beyonce fans. If you dare say anything they perceive as even slightly negative about their queen bee, they will unleash holy fury upon you. They act like Beyonce has to be on everybody's playlist. It's like they worship her. Not sure if it counts as a fandom, but people who obsess over astrology stuff and make their whole personality over what astrology sign thing they are. Dream. The stands make me embarrassed to be a fan. And the change in that words being leads to nothing but trouble. People complain about the true stands. And Dream defends his young super fans that think calling themselves stans make them look more dedicated. And after watching that, the true stans act like that validates their disgusting actions. And the percentage of stans to sane human beings is a lot bigger than other communities. As an example, just take Thirtiverus's RP's cringe tweet. He didn't even directly mention Dream SMP. And his tweets are supposed to be more serious and honest to his actual followers. Take one look. And you see an army of 10-year-olds with nothing better to do with their lives yelling at him. I even joke with my friends about how stans are Homo erectus that survived their extinction because smaller brains, and erectus is how they feel when they see their favorite creators. Okay, rant over. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. People who worship Elon Musk. He's an incredibly driven individual and a genius of engineering, but he's a massive tool and fairly unhinged. Apple fans. I have never seen a more self-righteous subset of humans than the people. My brother-in-law is one of these people. His favorite saying when I get on my phone is, when you are tired of talking to Iraq, the iPhone will be waiting for you. You still use a PC? No wonder you can't get your 3D stuff rendered. A Mac will fix all of this. He also drinks Starbucks exclusively. Beer snobs. Though I don't mind a specialty beer once in a while, I still drink mostly standard microbrew beers, and usually from a can as well. Mentioning this to a beer snob will usually result in a reaction as if I told him I strangle puppies every weekend, followed by a string of recommended beers which all cost more per bottle than a 24 pack of Heineken, and none of which I know or care about. P.S. More hops does not make a beer better. Your favorite microbrew IPA tastes like every other microbrew IPA, and the company that made it is likely owned by Anheuser-Busch anyway. I will get attacked, but I'm gonna say it. I can't stand the weird Harry Potter fandom among adults. It's bizarre obsessing over children that can do magic. Fair enough if you just like the books, movies, but the crazy obsessed fans scare me. Grown butt people fighting over what house they are. Please make it stop. I get where you're going with that, but I have to say, adult Disney fandom is way more bizarre. The sheer amount of time and money people invest into obsessing over princesses and cartoon characters is obscene. Gonna go out on a limb and say Undertale. It's an amazing game that deserves a lot of praise, especially with how much of an ethical experiment it is. I don't want to spoil much, but it presents you with difficult decisions in a way where you might not think there really is any choice to be made. It subverts its own genre and promotes radical empathy, and people that went through that experience immediately came out on their high horse ready to tear down anyone who played the game wrong, to the point where content creators just didn't want to touch it. Like anything, I'm sure it's a small minority that's so toxic, but yay, that's my worst fandom. They aren't just annoying to people that aren't in the fandom, they go out of the way to tear down people looking to experience the game for themselves. You really aren't supposed to totally get Undertale on your first play. What's amazing about it is all the realizations that happen on a second playthrough. I love the game and was hardcore into the fandom for a while. The sheer amount of ors was ridiculous, like you needed a legitimate spreadsheet to keep up with them. Not to mention all the bullying and the ridiculous amount of skeleton pee and incest you had to wade through. Wrestling fans, more specifically, the Tribalism fans who proclaim only one company is worth watching. So much stuff presented by fans in bad faith. If you don't go along with the pack, expect to be near bullied out. Seriously, you can put in the statement, I prefer X to Y because of A, B, and C, and you'll have 80 comments about how you are stupid and don't understand wrestling. People who praise Elon Musk. I don't feel like typing out paragraphs to explain my point because I feel like people will understand. LOL. To add insult to injury, no, he's not funny. He's just a weird rich dude who finds stale memes off Reddit. He's not a meme lord. He's just very unfunny and very annoying as well. I'll never forgive him for calling that diver a pedo guy after he saved those kids. He seemed like an butthole before that, but that really sealed it. The Dream SMP fandom is freaking awful. The stans are just so bad, and the fanfics are disgusting. I also just don't get the appeal. To each their own. But why are they trending every goddamn day? They also overrate everything they do so much. They're like, oh my god, the plot is so good and well structured, the acting is so great, even though it's really not. It's just so freaking stupid. Why do people watch Minecraft Hamilton roleplay? Star Wars has got to be the most self-hating, toxic fandom in existence, and they don't even know the movies they're in love with. The original trilogy was a silly rape-punk schlocky fantasy series that took special effects seriously. Lucas straight up admitted it was a project to advertise his special effects company and sell toys explicitly to 10-year-old boys. That's it. Any philosophical, religious, or political messages you took out of it are entirely artifacts from the dozens and dozens of concepts Lucas shamelessly stole from other rape-punk serials. The prequels were the way they were because Lucas tried to turn that mess into something serious, political and deep, and everyone working for him was too impressed by him to tell him that some things were just a terrible idea. It can't be that deep or politically complex because the foundation is a wonderful, hot mess of stolen tropes and visual bumps that don't actually make any dang narrative sense. And the hate that the sequels get is the result of an attempt to market the toys to people other than specifically 10-year-old boys. The writing is no worse and the effects were a lot better. They've even been trying to comb out the tangles and lies on the extended universe and incorporate it into the canon, which is an ambitious project by itself. But it isn't all that. It's that if you disagree with the hatred of whichever trilogy they find to be the worst, then they hate you. Like, actual emotional, visceral hatred. I personally like Star Wars, but then again I like schlocky ray-punk space adventures. The fans on Star Wars have a weird need for it to be something more, to be both important and meaningful. They won't be happy unless they go see a Star Wars movie that blows their mind the way they did to their 10-year-old selves, and that won't happen because they are no longer 10. I'll admit, parts of Star Wars really are deep and meaningful to me, but a lot of that is the result of the meaning that I needed to see in it. Like you said, it's a fun, goofy, schlocky space adventure. I like it. I like all 9 movies. I'm excited about all the series coming out. I adore The Mandalorian. I even like Jar Jar. Star Wars. It's probably the most gatekeeper-y fandom I'm in and has bullied several people involved with Star Wars to need therapists and near suicide. No one hates Star Wars quite like Star Wars fans. Adolf Hitler. Yeah, I know about Star Wars and K-pop and the New York Yankees, but their fan bases haven't caused the deaths of tens of millions of people. COD, Battlefield, Fortnite, etc. Bunch of toxic and overly competitive mouth-breathing neckbuds. Angry kids who hate their stepdad and wannabe soldier tack bros. Not all of them are that way, but about 95% are. Guaranteed. I used to play games competitively with friends. R6, COD, etc. But after a while we just started fricking around and it became so much more enjoyable. The Office fan group. Good show but I hate the fans. There are other shows to watch. No need to rewatch for the millionth time. Parks and Rec is better. I cannot stand the Star Wars fandom. They bullied the young Anakin actor to the point where he hates Star Wars completely and gave up acting. And most people in our Star Wars are pretty stuck up. Most things I've posted there were taken down without any reason, and people just bicker about teeny tiny details. Our prequel memes is where it's at though. So no crap there, I was about 10 years old playing a fun MOBA that just started up about half a year ago. It was free, and me and my cousins played the living crap out of it. I really enjoyed the characters and the lore that went with them. Unfortunately my dad swore up and down that this game gave our computer a virus, so I had to delete it. Spoiler alert, it was my then going through puberty brother watching pee on said computer. A couple years later I got my own computer and decided to download said game. I logged on, picked my character, and was promptly told to kill myself for picking my character. It did not stop throughout the entire match. I deleted the game not too soon after that because I was consistently told how trash I was and how I was dragging down the team and how I should kill myself, and the game was not fun anymore. Also I was playing on casual mode. In case you have not realized it, this game is League of Legends. As much of a fan I am of the show, an unfortunately large portion of the fan base of the US version of Big Brother is toxic. Anybody that Twitter doesn't stand on the show it seems gets immediately devoured, and you have people trying to dig up personal dirt and attack the job's friends, family or those on it. Not to say if there is a problematic person on the show that they shouldn't be held accountable for their actions, but sending death threats and hate mail to their loved ones is just not cool. Star Wars. Toxic. 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 Attack others for liking a certain movie they don't like. Attacking and harassing actors because they don't like the characters they play. Most people are either conservative buttholes or straight up SJWs, rarely in between. KPOP is the worst fandom, no doubt. JJBA fandom is inescapable though, especially if you're a fan of certain bands. Man, are they so cringy and spammy. I joined a Bob Burgers group on Facebook. I like the show and have joined other TV movie based groups. Thought why not, and joined a fairly large one. Most of the posts were talking about episodes they liked and normal crap until this woman started posting her drawings of the characters, which started off mundane but then just went Weird, she started drawing the children of the show in gay relationships with other characters because in X episode they had seemed like a good fit and started drawing kids wearing Supreme and Hipper Beast douche crap. I just wanted to see burger of the day examples. If it helps, I once got served a deer meat burger and I called it the back with a venison se burger. NSW and NSFL to Google, but Nambla. I don't give a frick about the downvotes. I just won this thread. Dropped a nuke on it in fact. Nothing that anyone has said or will say is worse than Nambla. Thread. Nambla. The North American Marlon Brando lookalikes. Not exactly a fandom, but people on Twitter who overpraise certain celebs or movies that push whatever agenda they believe in. Star Wars. If you like the sequels, then you're the worst person ever. If you enjoyed the prequels, you might even get death threats. If you don't worship Luke Skywalker like he's nerd Jesus, then don't even think about saying it. In their eyes, no new Star Wars can be good. The original trilogy is perfect and can't be improved upon. Frick those people. Just let people enjoy a fricking movie. Military worship. These people act like no one else is allowed to have problems. Oh boo-hoo. You witnessed a school shooting. This guy fought in a war. BTS fandom. It is so freaking toxic and it is genuinely disappointing seeing people obsess over how seemingly perfect BTS is. I've seen so many people beat themselves over and lose confidence because they aren't as good looking or talented. What's worse is that the fandom itself can't really take any opinion that negates their own. They jump out to defend their views, brutally criticizing others in the process. I'm not saying that BTS is crap. They're obviously not. And they create some really good music. And there have been instances where their fanbase has done genuinely good stuff. I think they donated a lot as well. That's great. But in some of the interactions I've had with teenage fans, it's just so incredibly toxic that it puts me off every time. TLDR BTS is great. Part of their fanbase not so much. Is racism a fandom? Religion, patriotism, ownership? Fan of me, inheritance? Fan of my kids? I think they killed most people. Are people just avoiding saying like juggalos because they are no longer a big thing? Or because they will death threat you? Or what? Because seriously bad. But you didn't hear that on here. Definitely not for me. Sports. Riots. Butthole sport parents. Increases in domestic violence after a local loss. It's really no contest. Pun intended. Yup, I'm a sports fan myself, but still I have seen people getting beat up for supporting other team. Celebrity worship in general is pretty weird to me. Like, they're just people. Watch the movies or TV shows they're in, like them or don't, and move on. They're just people. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.